I had somebody tell me today that I needed to go with my heart, but I have to write stuff down because if I go with my heart, we're going to be here all night long. Um, my name is Missy, and I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a control freak. I like to be in charge of things. I want things my way, no other way. I'm an alcoholic, but I really don't call myself an alcoholic anymore because I don't even have an urge to drink, even if I'm around somebody that does. I have anxiety. I'm nervous up the yin-yang right now, and I have my tissues, and I know I'm going to cry. That's a given because that's who I am. I have a lot of grief built up, and I've had it built up for a really long time. Just breathe. Growing up, I came from a dysfunctional alcoholic family. Now, I don't want anybody in here. I've got them. I really do. They're right here. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. When I say I was blessed, I'm blessed. We had a mom and a dad. Dad worked to death every day, just about 7 days a week. We were I have two brothers, both older, so I'm the baby, the only girl at that. So I was Daddy's little girl. And we were lucky we had my granny live next door, but we'll get into that. We traveled a lot. When I say we were blessed, we were truly blessed with that. But like everybody's family, we have our issues. Our family got into go-kart racing, and it was a long time ago. Like I said, we traveled a lot. We all over the East Coast. Mom and Dad went all the way to California, racing go-karts. The guys raced. I scored. That's what I did. Really good guy, a friend of ours, asked me if I would start helping with some of the bigger races, and I did because I loved it. It was my way of being there, supporting my family and my guys. Along the way, we met some incredible people. I mean, they were Christian people, not so Christian people, but those people would give you the shirt off their back, just loving. I can't say enough about them. Anyway, I said we were lucky to have my granny live next door to us pretty much my whole life. I think we moved into our first home when I was like 3, something like that. And so she lived there until she died. Now, this wasn't like a normal granny. She used to take me by my hand when I was little, and she'd hold my little hand like this, and we would go to look for rocks with gold flakes in them. And so we collected rocks. She loved violets, so we would pick up the little violets out of the yards and stuff like that. Pancakes. My granny could cook the best. Our granny could cook the best pancakes ever. But she also fixed a chicken sandwich. I don't know what she did, but the thing was juicy. I mean, juice just dripped out of it. I had to use Duke mayonnaise. It was awesome. Anyway, Granny got Alzheimer's, and so my brother and I took turns cooking for her because we were afraid she would burn the house down, and she passed away in her little hallway. I never grieved. I never grieved. And we were closer to her, unfortunately, more than my dad's mom and dad, but not that we didn't grieve, for them, but she lived right there. So anyway, then Dad, he developed Alzheimer's slowly. He forgot a lot of things, and I am going to share one little thing about our dad. I keep saying my dad. He ain't my dad. He was our dad. Dad developed Alzheimer's, and when I tell you this man was the strongest man I've ever known in my life, I mean that. He cut wood across the creek, and a tree fell on him. I don't know how he done it, but he reached over and got that chainsaw and cut it off his legs. Now, he didn't cut himself. Daddy was good. We grew tobacco. He worked all the time. When I say Daddy had multiple jobs for our family, competition karting, RJ Reynolds, built trophies, ran a go-kart track, cut wood, and if you didn't stack it right on the back of his truck, if he saw any sunlight, you had to unpack it and reload it. That's just the type of man that he was. He wanted you to get every stick of wood that they had. Anyway, Daddy passed away at Forsyth Hospital on February 26, 2015. Never grieved. Bob, my father-in-law. Anybody that knows me knows I live right down this road, and my in-laws live right behind me. So we did the farming. He loved to do the garden, and that was just something we did. Not him and his boys. The boys hated it, and they will gladly tell you they did not enjoy it. On the other hand, I enjoyed that. That was something I did at home with, Mom and Daddy. And so anyway, he never judged anybody. He didn't care what you did, how you looked. He just cared about you. That was just the type of man he was. There was one time, it's my favorite story, one of my favorite stories about Bob. School went on lockdown. Lockdown means you can't go in, you can't go out. Well, let me tell you something. My father-in-law did. He got up there and picked up Brittany, and they went golfing at that little place over off Griffith Road. He too passed. Two important men in my life has gone. Never grieved. Then Mama. Mom and I collected Hallmark ornaments. That was our thing. And we traveled a lot. Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. And I think we went to West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. We did that while we were racing go-karts up there to find our little treasures. It was the two of us, and we were very blessed with that time together while the guys were racing. Me and Mama would take a vehicle, and we'd sneak off, and we'd do our little thing. She also made or baked mints, chocolates, hard candy, which is like the rock candy. We also painted ceramics together, and I'm grateful I have a Christmas tree that Mom did. Mom also passed away at Forsyth Memorial Hospital. The only difference with Mom was Mike and I, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. But anyway, we took turns staying with Mom at either the rehab hospital or the hospital because we didn't trust anybody with her. And so we did. We took turns, and I was there when Mama died. I was very blessed. I mean, I know some people are like, really? You're blessed for that? Yeah, I was. Because we talked. We talked about her not wanting to go because she was worried. Here, our mom was worried yet again about her kids. And I promised her, it's going to be okay. Tell Granny hey, tell Grandpa hey. And I started, trying to make her feel a little bit at ease. And she died holding my finger. That's what she was holding. And so I do feel very, very blessed. One more thing about Mama. I struggled prior to Mama dying with alcohol. I got sober 6 months prior to Mama dying. And I stayed sober 6 months after Mama died. On her 6-month anniversary of passing away, I started drinking again. I didn't care about nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Oh, Bible verse, Romans 9:2. My heart is filled with bitter sorrow and unending grief. Do I think I'll ever get over losing my parents and a man that was so important in my life, my father-in-law and my granny? You can't forget Granny. Probably not, but it is under control now. I feel more at ease. I have a lot of guilt built up, but I'm working on that with this church. Matthew 26:36. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. Okay. I was on the verge of losing my family, my girls, my husband, my home, and my life. I lost faith in God. After all, He took 4 very important people away from me. I asked the question, where was He all the time? He wasn't there when Granny, Daddy, father-in-law, or Mom passed. I pulled away from my old church. The church wasn't there for me when I reached out, and I did reach out to the old church. Darkness was swallowing me whole. I was drowning. Aloneness invaded me and my heart every single day. Then one day, I decided to go to that little church at the top of my neighborhood, First Christian Church of Clemmons. Mom went to this church and even begged me, and I mean begged me, to come here. Nope, I got my own church, Mom. I don't need that church. Boy, was I wrong. I went a few times, but one Wednesday night at CR stands out. I'm not a date person, so I can't tell you how long I've been sober. I pulled in, sat in my car, drank a couple shots of Fireball because, the little ones, nobody can see those going down the road, but them fists, you might get seen. So I bought the little shots. And that was one thing I swore I'd never do, is drink and drive, because of me possibly hitting somebody else's car and taking their life or their child. That would have been on me, and I swore to God I'd never do it, and I did it. Let's see, I lost my place. Okay. I pulled in, sat in my car, drank a couple shots of Fireball, and decided that I'd had enough. My girls and my husband deserved more. Someone that wasn't a drunk. Wasn't an alcoholic anymore, I was a drunk. Waited for Steve to leave to go to work. I'd start drinking 6:30 in the morning. One thing I promised Mom on her deathbed was that I would take care of a certain person. And I couldn't even keep that promise. Stinking thinking was going on, but I felt as though I was ready to end my life. But was I? I don't know. I called Sarah and I told her that I wasn't going to make it to CR. Remember? I'm sitting in that parking lot right over here by the door, a few spots down. She asked me where I was, and all I could do was laugh at her. I said, closer than you think. Next thing I remember, and I don't remember a whole lot about that night, but I remember a couple really important things. That door flew open. She got in my car. She took every bit of the liquor I had in it, empty or whole bottles. And I don't really know who helped me get in the church. I think it was Ray. I'm not sure. Anyway, I was helped into church. Sarah cleaned out my car and got rid of all my Fireball bottles. I cannot explain it, but when I took one foot and put it in the threshold of that door right over there on the side of this little church, something came through my body I've never experienced before in my life. People came to me and freely gave out hugs and love. After everybody was gone, I was ready to be committed. I don't know if committed is right the way. Go to rehab, a long-term rehab. I was willing to fight for my family because I felt Jesus in my heart. There wasn't a bed anywhere, nowhere for me to go. And I decided that night that I didn't need that. I finally found what I needed. I'm no longer feel alone. I have my family. I've had my forever family. But most of all, I have Jesus Christ by my side. And I can honestly tell you from my own experience, and it's different for everybody, this church, with the help of Jesus Christ, saved my life that night because I was going to commit suicide. My husband deserved better. My kids deserve better. My Durham family, and I'm proud to say that, deserve better. But this church completely changed my life. I have 2 more Bible verses. John 13:7 says, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Now this last verse, I picked it because it means a lot to me. 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have remained faithful. Thanks for letting me share.